This conference will now be recorded.
Entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, minutes approved. The agenda all good?
Yeah. we have any
Anybody have any
changes?
questions on the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any conflicts of interest?
None.
Oh, because that's gonna put us in. All right. Did we gain TJ yet?
No, I just sent him the quote again. He's still trying.
We'll see how that goes. Okay, public hearing, CUP 495 for Scott Anderson. Our format for a public hearing will be that we'll have a presentation from Amber and the applicant. And then after that time, we will open it up to the public for comments, either in favor or against the CUP. When you talk, please state your name and your address for the recording of the meeting. It helps us a lot with the minutes. And then stand up if you would so that we can hear you good. And then we'll go back and forth a few times with that, and then we'll close the public hearing. We'll have a discussion amongst the board. At that time, please refrain from talking to us while we're doing that. We might ask you some questions. But after the public hearing is closed, that was your time for comment. This one?
TJ, is that you on there?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you for now, but I'll go back and forth here.
We're gonna ask you a lot of questions today, TJ.
So don't let me forget. He's color 2. All right.
Can you still, let's see if he can hear us. He should be able to hear us still, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right, so this is for Scott Anderson. I'm gonna try to keep both screens on here so we can kind of keep an eye on it. This is the public hearing, and nope, it's not gonna let me. There we go. Okay, so Scott Anderson is looking to be able to utilize the little piece of property that's right off of 2-Bit. If you remember, we had Troy Schultz tried to put a little building on there. He tried getting a variance for it and some different things. But in the end, the commissioners had decided that it was a non-buildable lot. It's basically a leftover piece that just got left out. They are assuming that at one point when that original subdivision was done, maybe he was gonna use it for storage or like snow removal or put a sign on or something like that entering that subdivision. So it's a non-buildable lot, but Scott purchased the lot from Troy Schultes and he would like to be able to store his outdoor snow removal equipment there because he has the contracts for the subdivisions up above it. And so that's basically what he's asking for. In theory, he probably didn't need a CUP for it, but he just wanted to be safe because there was, some kind of other people saying stuff. He talked to all the neighbors there. They were happy with it because then the equipment's there. It'll be easier to get in and out so he doesn't have to bring them up on a trailer and whatnot. And he has a number of contracts in that area. So he just kind of wants to use it as a parking area for his snow removal equipment. So just to be safe, we decided just to go ahead and do a CUP for it. I don't see any issues. It will be a Board of Adjustment item when it goes to the county commission. They'll act as the Board of Adjustment. There's a packet in here. He kind of showed you what it was going to look like. He sent letters out to everybody. We did get one letter of support from one of the neighbors. They were actually pretty happy with it just because he's already doing the work. So it's nice to have it there instead. So I guess really there's nothing else with it besides that. Conditions wise, we kind of left pretty basic with this one. It's if he would put in a septic system or anything, he has to meet the requirements. Access will have to be approved by South Dakota DOT. Parking, we're going to make him meet the parking regs, which is, can't park in the right of way, that kind of stuff. Storage areas, we did specify no overnight stays. So that's in there. I'm trying to think. If he does do any new construction or movement of the buildings, we'll have to deal with that. He's been told that the commission had already said that you couldn't put a residence or anything in there. I don't know. Other than that, there's nothing too crazy with it unless you want to see any other conditions.
Anything from the public? Anything from the applicant?
No applicant here.
Okay, I will close the public hearing. Discussion?
Move to approve CUP number 495.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Okay, so this will go to the Board of Adjustment on February 25th.
Okay, public hearing CUP 496 for Ladd and Lara McCluskey. Again, the same format will be used for this public hearing, so we'll hear from Amber and then the applicant, and then we'll have opportunity to comment.
You guys saw most of the kind of the development plan that he wanted to do last time. This is off of Yellow Creek for a specialty resort. TP Structures has a house on there currently, lives out there full time. They are looking to just do a conditional use permit for the, like I said, specialty resort, kind of like a campground, but we usually use the specialty resort function when it's not going to be for RVs. It's going to be for something else, whether it's cabins or in this case, it's the little tent, TP tents. It's 28 acres. Infrastructure's already there, roads are in, all of that stuff's in. There's a map and everything provided that you guys have. The conditions are posted in here. We basically use the conditions that we see in most of our specialty resorts or conditional use permits. There's really nothing new in there. About the only thing is no RV sites would be permitted, and he had asked for 3 sites to be used for the teepees or cabins. I put the teepees or cabins because really it doesn't matter to me if he decides to build a permanent structure or not. I mean, it's about the same whether it's a cabin or a
Have to have a
teepee.
building permit.
Yeah, you'd still have to go through that process, but so we did do the 3 sites because that's what was asked for. There is an active road district up there, so whenever we have that active road district, we usually have a condition in there for that. Well, they would have to make sure they could provide water if they decided to put water in. So that's kind of what's in there, and Lad's here if you have any questions. But other than that, this is a public hearing. You guys received a few letters just the last couple of days. They started coming in from a handful of people. Did you get I think you got, do you want copies of those? We have them if you want them.
I mean, if you could summarize them, it'd be great.
Pretty much all of them didn't want to see them. I mean, that's really what it came down to.
Nice, how many there were?
5
or 6.
5 or 6.
They're also out on the wall out there.
Yeah, they're all out there if you want copies, but
So, I'll wait.
well, yeah, let's wait till we get to it. So that's kind of where we're at with that. It's a public hearing, so whatever you guys want to do with it.
I'm gonna go ahead and make any comments you have.
Yep, I'm Ladd McCluskey, 21321. My address just changed, but I had to remember it. So 21321, One Horse. I guess my goal is to have a teepee and maybe have a second or third. Not very intrusive. The reason we based it on 2 or 3 or something like that is because I mean, technically we could take this 28 acres, plat it out, put 4 houses on it, and rent it out anytime we want it. And not worry about it because it wouldn't require any permission from you guys. So we thought, well, let's keep the density down. Let's make it basically so we have, because I was asked by one of the people that I think sent you a letter. I don't know if he did or not, but anyway, his name is Roger. He called me and asked me, what about creep? I'm like, what do you mean creep? Like project creep. What about the future? I said, no, it's restricted what we can do. We have restrictions in there on what we can do. And I think that's the biggest thing that people don't want. They don't want a full campground, right? They don't want to have it so there's 20 more cars a day running up and down the roads. And I guess with me living out there, I'm on the road district, so that's helpful. Not to me, but to everybody else, it's helpful because, when you have a road district that's based on how much land you own, we pay with the exception of, I think we are the largest. We pay the largest amount for the road. And I'm not saying that should mean anything. It's just that, we're just trying to make it so we have a secondary, whatever, a trinary income to pay taxes and insurance and make it as inexpensive as possible for us. It's just one of those things we wanted to do. So, and by the way, only one person contacted me directly, and I put my name and phone number in the packet. So,
Okay.
And I think you've got, I don't know how many packets. I brought back the green sheets. But
Yeah, I got 5 letters according to this, unless there was another one that came in afterwards.
no, the
5?
packet.
Yeah, I just need those.
The mail,
You
you
can
just
just give
need
them
the
to
big
me.
green mailer.
Yeah, I brought those back to you. I brought a bunch in today.
Oh, okay.
So the
Oh.
first, what I'm saying is we got probably 12, 13 out of the 17 I had to send. So,
Yeah, that just means they didn't go pick them up.
so, you guys have any questions for me? I know last time we talked about septic. I contacted, I can't remember her last name, Helena.
Helene Eddy.
Please, me.
Helene,
Oh,
right
there we
there.
go. I don't know that I've ever actually met you in person.
No, I don't think so.
We talked about it, we'll put together a plan, and it'll be according to the recommendations and make sure it falls under the right, we'll do what's right, so.
Okay.
So, but, any questions?
We'll probably have some later.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anyone else wish to comment?
There's one person online. I don't know if they want to or not.
Does anyone online wish to make any comments during the public hearing?
Yes. Can you hear us okay?
Yes. Who is this?
This is Kevin and Joyce Dewald. We live just east of Lad and Laura's property,
Can you state your address, please?
21304 One Horse Road.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, me and several neighbors, my wife and I, we don't feel this is the place for this type of a property. People come out here, bought this land to get out of the town where it's quiet, have some peace and quiet. We bought the place. We told our realtor we want secluded. We don't want street lights. We don't want a lot of activity. And that's the way it's been for the last 11 years that we've owned it. Me and Dave did a lot of work on the road and fixed it up. And this is a residential area, quiet area. And I know I've read all the other letters that were submitted. This is not the place for it. We already put up with bed and breakfasts up the hill from us, extra traffic. The UTVs are in and out of there, spinning the road off the gravel off the road, excuse me. And there's a ton of Airbnbs around, and we just don't think it's the proper place for it. There's plenty of places closer to highways or whatever would be good for campgrounds, but not here. It's a quiet neighborhood, and that's pretty much what everybody out there wants.
Okay,
We also
thank you.
submitted a letter too, if you would, I'm sure you commissioners have all read through that, so.
Yep.
And I guess my comment is I know, they expect these campers.
Ma'am, could you state your name, please?
Oh, yep, this is Joyce Dewald.
Okay, thank you.
I know Lad and Laura have said, they built in a entrance off of Wasp for their renters to come in. But we've already seen increased traffic through One Horse Road, and part of that road runs right through our property. We've already had to, add gravel. Last spring, there was a bunch of ruts in the road we had to fix. And even though we're a part of the road district does not fix that section that runs through our property. So any damage to that road would be the expense of Kevin and I. And a lot of times he has to bring down equipment, either a skid steer or a excavator to fix the road or fix the ditch along the road. And we just feel this is going to add to that expense of maintaining part of One Horse that runs right through our property.
And the traffic, we know that people are gonna get out there and not be able to find it, and they'll be driving right through our property, which we have problems with now.
Okay.
I've talked to several of my neighbors too, and that everybody I talk to feels the same way. Brett and Susan Fasham would have been here, but Brett's at work and Susan has an appointment. So everybody I talk to is against this. It's not the place for it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Can I address that?
Yeah, go ahead and make sure you stand up and say your name and address.
Lad McCluskey, and so first to address a couple of things. The reason the road is not maintained by anyone is the road stops at Clifford's house, right past Cliff's. And as a road district, we made a decision, we talked about it and made the decision that if anybody wants their portion of the road that's not currently in the road district to be included in the maintenance, they have to bring it up to speed. So they have to bring it up. So I would have to, because I share half the road. So from Cliff's property, Kevin and Joyce, we abut properties all the way along. So it would be, the two of us would split the cost and bring that road up to the standard. We'd have to have it surveyed and then bring it up to the right width with appropriate, gravel covering and everything like that. It doesn't go anywhere. I've talked to Kevin about it. He said the same thing I feel. It doesn't go anywhere. We're not using it as a driveway. Let's keep it low maintenance. Let's keep it where it is, because I don't really want to go through and spend the money to upgrade it. That's one of the reasons I purchased an additional 7 acres on the other end of the property and upgraded the driveway there. So you can come off an existing road that is completely up to speed and it's a regular road and it's, whatever, that's all been taken care of. So, and I guess one of the things that was mentioned was ATVs and UTVs. If you'll notice, the parking area is very limited. I kept it very small for the simple reason that I have no desire whatsoever to rent to anyone that brings UTVs or ATVs out. I'm against that myself. And if you'd like to ask any of the other neighbors, I put together a group and I went out and cut down trees and took trees that were 6-8 inches and we built crossbucks south of the neighborhood, on the north end of the power line where WASP goes, on the south end of the power line where WASP goes, and then all the way on the north where One Horse is. So we've crossbucked that whole thing off. There were 4 of us that did that. And we went out and put all this up and put all the no trespassing zone signs, and that has virtually eliminated people coming into the neighborhood as on UTVs, right? And again, what these are going to be, they're going to be walk-to sites. They're not going to be a drive-to site. It's not a place that you're going to come with your 4-wheeler. It's not a place that you're going to come with your snowmobile. And I think the other thing to really consider is this. So Kevin and Joyce, I think, have around 10 acres. I don't know exactly, but I think it's around 10 acres in 2 lots, right? And so they have 1 lot that they're building on right now. And the goofy thing about the county regulations is I can go out and buy a piece of property, build a house on it, and you guys have absolutely no issues if I rent it. I don't have to live here. I don't have to stay here. I don't have to be anywhere near it. I can hire somebody to manage it, and it can be an Airbnb. That's what Powder House is, right? It's like 80% Airbnbs. That's just I don't know that percent, but it's a lot. It's more than 50%. The issue comes when you actually live here. So I was told that it would be easier for me to take my house and rent my house and not live here, to rent it as an Airbnb or as a place to stay, versus living here and being here and watching over this stuff and seeing what's going on and controlling who comes and goes. And if they're getting out of hand, tell them. And I don't disagree with what Kevin and Joyce are saying. We do have an Airbnb in the neighborhood, and it sleeps like 12 or 14 people. And you get trucks and trailers up there, and they rip down the roads with 25 UTVs, and it's unreal. And the people that own it don't live here, and they don't manage it. And so that's where this discrepancy comes from, right? I don't quite understand this. I have to come here and get a CUP, right? And I have to get the CUP so I can have something that's a temporary structure. It's not a permanent structure. It's a temporary structure. I want to put a queen bed in it and have a bathroom facility and have it walk in. And so it's not like it's going to be a place where people can go, where it's quiet, where it's peaceful, and that's my goal. And if you look, when I moved here, when I first started out here, first thing I did was talk to this guy Dave that Kevin mentioned, and We pitched in. I used my tractor to grade the roads. I think Kevin helped pay for gravel that time. A bunch of other people pitched in. And that's what I've done since I got here. You guys know Cliff. I worked with Cliff, became a friend of his. And, he gets water from our place all the time. I've offered to these guys, hey, if you want to come get water, you're more than welcome to. Come get water. We've got a great well. It's ready to go. It's available. My goal is to build this neighborhood and make it so that it doesn't look like the place that it's looked like for the past 40 years. Okay? And prior to that, like prior to us living there, you could not get through the road. There were times that I talked to Kevin and you couldn't get through the road, right? There was so much junk piled on the road, you couldn't get through it. Well, now there's someone else using it. I use it all the time, right? I use this little road, and I also purchased gravel. I bought oversized because I wanted that on first, but these guys bought their smaller gravel. And I plowed it, I plow it all winter. I keep it open. It's open right now. And I know last week there was somebody at their place with a truck and a trailer and snowmobiles, and their driveway had been plowed a couple weeks prior by one of the other neighbors, but I kept their parking space open. And the whole point is I'm trying to keep the neighborhood like it is by restricting, and that's why these restrictions are on there. I don't want to have a ton of traffic. I don't want to have a ton of people. I'm just saying the traffic is going to be no more than if I took 5 acres and put a house on it and rented it out. The difference is we're here and we're going to manage it. But there's a problem with the county rules. I mean, I hope you see that. That, for me to put up a temporary unit, I have to go through these hoops. But if I came out here and even if I put a tiny little house down there, if I came and got a building permit for a house on 5 acres and I platted off 5 acres, I could have anybody rent it anytime and never touch it. And that's one of the issues.
Okay.
So, but
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on the road. Whether who did what, this is Kevin Dewald again. Whether who did what to what road doesn't matter. My road, I was told couldn't be opened by the road district. My road is just as wide as Upper One Horse is. And that's here nor there when it comes to a campground. People can still drive through it, whether it's narrower or wider. And that's what I'm going to get is a bunch more traffic. In fact, I'd like to talk to the county commissioners, if this goes through, about blocking it because it goes right through my property. I don't care what he did for Cliff or what he did anywhere else. The question today is having people access it and having a campground out there. You can't control what people do. You rent a tent. Somebody can go to town and get a UTV and still rip up and down our road. You can't stop it before they do it. And this is no place for a campground. This is a quiet residential area.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. We'll have discussion amongst the board now.
I have a couple questions. So I'm looking at the drawing, the buffer map, CUP 9496, and I see a white portion of the road. Is that the road that is maintained by the association?
So yeah, the road is maintained up to here.
Up to that point?
Yep.
And then where Mr. DeWald's talking about the road continuing to go up and wants the road shut down. So if that road was to shut down, how would Ross David Decoray?
Ross DeCray.
Yeah, and DVB LLC access their property from shutting down that road?
They would.
Okay, and so your proposed entrance into your facility is down,
It's right here off Wasp.
okay?
Come in this way and come up.
So you wouldn't be using the One Horse Road up through the DeWald's property?
No, and the way that it works with, is it okay? The way that it works with Airbnb is you get directions. It's not like you just drive there and camp. Like if you stay at 114 North Main Street, you get directions to 114 North Main Street. And in our case, what would happen is they would get, like, you go to Yellow Creek, and then you go to White Forest, and then you take White Forest to One Horse, and you take One Horse to Wasp, and you turn and go 50 feet, and you take a right, and you go up the driveway. And that's the road they take to get there. So, and we also just switched our address because our address was back here in front of their place. And that's where it was 21303 One Horse. And so we moved our address to this spot right here. So it's now 21123 One Horse. So if somebody knows our name and they want to come visit us, they're going to find a GPS pin that tells them that's where that 21123 One Horse is.
Well, the traffic is still gonna go past Brett and Susan's place.
Hold on, sir.
This is Kevin Dewald.
Yeah, we're not, the public hearing is closed.
Hmm.
Um,
I don't get a response to that.
well, we can ask you questions, but right now the public hearing is closed.
So that would, I guess, to address that, the road traffic would pass by these folks who are from Nebraska and Roger, who maybe is one that sent in a letter, right? And then to here
On your property.
and then onto our property. And it doesn't go past Fosham's or Dewald's or it goes here and then it's a driveway. Oh, do you have it?
They have it. They
Oh,
have
okay.
the map in front of
Yeah,
them
I
that
got mine.
shows
Okay.
where it's all located.
I guess I have one more question. Where exactly is this current Airbnb located? Which property?
It's right here. So you come back up here, up, I don't know what the road's called.
I was just curious where it was relative to.
Yeah, it's
this
literally, it's directly above these folks. It's,
Deadwood Hills Estates, I would assume.
yep, that's the same property owner.
Yeah.
But it's right here.
So is that accessed off that maintained road?
It is, it's accessed off Yellow Creek already. And then you go up, I can't think of what it's called.
Wild
There's a road
Turkey?
to the right. No, Wild Turkey is a drive and then there's, I absolutely can't remember what it's called.
But it's not up to
It's-
the,
You don't use One Horse Road to get
don't
to
you
it.
don't use One Horse Road to get to it.
You do. Yes, this is One Horse
That's
here.
one, yeah.
You use One Horse, you come off of White Forest and you turn and go down One Horse. And then you turn off One Horse and go up and then forward.
But it's not up above where,
No, it's not up this way, no.
it's down below.
Yeah, come in the corner. right there.
And then the other thing that's slightly deceiving on this too, this is a platted road, but this is WASP, which is part of our road district and maintained. This part of WASP goes all the way to the other end and comes out on Yellow Creek as a maintained road.
Are you saying it's that Clydesdale place that comes off of there? And they come back around to Deadwood Hills?
No, there's a road like if you,
I can't zoom down on this.
I know, but if
Yeah.
Yellow Creek goes up to White Forest, and between White Forest and Wasp, there's a road that goes off to the right to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 or 6 houses. And I know 1, if not 2 of those are Airbnbs right now.
Did you have another question too? Thanks. Any other discussion? TJ, can you hear us?
Hold on.
Hold on, we got you muted, TJ. We gotta turn you on.
He muted himself.
Mr. DeWald, I'd be interested in hearing your comment at this time. Are you still there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, about the pin, I think everybody that's ever used a Garmin is still taking a wrong turn somewhere. I had cement people up there building my cabin, and they got lost and took the wrong turn. So, tell me there won't be extra traffic and things going on up there.
And when, this is Joyce Dewald. when people go camping, they're gonna go exploring, right? They're either gonna go rent a UTV and explore, or they're gonna hike, or they're gonna drive around and explore. They're not just gonna use the one road that's given directions to them. They're gonna come through there. We have people going through there all the time now. We've got extra traffic than what we used to.
Yep, and UTVs, and we pick up garbage, and they're not just going to sit in their little teepee all day. So I strongly advise and hope that you vote this down.
Okay, thank you. Have we been able to get TJ?
Apparently he said he's not able, is there something like, it won't let me. See, it doesn't have here's something else, this is him right here.
Okay, any other
Yeah,
discussions?
I'll try that. Do you see something that I'm not seeing?
Try hit, keep mute.
I tried that.
No, I don't know. I can call him and get him on the phone.
It says allow to unmute,
There you
so I
go.
clicked that.
Yeah.
I'll tell him try it now. Do you have to click it first?
Yeah.
TJ, can you unmute now?
I can call him.
Yeah, here, I'll just call
Because
him.
it worked for a minute. I don't know what the deal was.
I don't
Because he talked earlier. Did we lose him?
Just hung up.
Unidentified caller is left.
Hey, TJ, you're on speakerphone here. Were you able to hear the discussion on that one?
Yeah, I could hear all of it, but
Just
wouldn't let me
couldn't say
unmute
anything.
anything.
Okay, do you have any comments or discussion?
No, I don't have anything to add. I'll just wait until we make a motion here.
Okay. I guess one of the things several of the thoughts that I have is that it is nice that it comes off that corner on Wasp Road there for the access, so you don't have to go through the other neighboring properties. And I feel that 3 teepees is probably gonna be a lot less intrusive than it would be if you divided this into 5-acre lots and built houses on each spot. Okay, any other discussions? Or questions?
Well, a few thoughts. Mr. McCluskey, right? I think the county has a problem with nightly rentals. I don't think it's a good thing. But with that being said, I don't think 2 wrongs make a right. There seems to be a lot of opposition from the neighbors out there, all worried about the same thing, peace and quiet, damage to the road, trespassing. I think those are real concerns and should be given weight. I do agree that it is, I have a rental down the road from me. There is increased traffic. You can't control what people do until after it's done. But then by then, a new group of people are in there doing the same thing. It's very disturbing, and so I think their concerns are valid.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussions?
Well, my thought would be that it's allowed CPU. Anybody can drive in those roads from anywhere, stopping people, good signage and things like that. And that's another thing that the board's gonna have to deal with some days. With these type of roads, where people put up signs, no trespassing, blah, blah, blah. And they're public access roads. Is this a public access road, a deeded public access road?
Well, for sure, Yellow, or One Horse is. I'm pretty sure Wasp is as well. And if you notice here could you bring up that other map?
Yeah, anywhere that the road district is a dedicated public right of way.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank
By
you.
statute.
Yeah, by statute.
So anybody can go there.
Yeah.
Some signage might help in some of those other areas, but it is a problem. As you know, we've had that problem at Nemo. So it's a difficult issue. But I think that some of the complaints are valid. The fact that the gentleman is living there and they can control that is one thing. When you're not there with a VRBO, it's hard to control it. So I understand that. Certainly there'd be less traffic, as you mentioned, with a couple teepees than it would be with several houses. But the board is always, these are hard decisions to make because we have opposition and yeah, it's. But I would make a motion to move to approve.
Okay.
What was that?
Wayland
To approve and
makes a
second.
motion to approve and Ewing seconds.
Okay, motion to approve with all of the attached conditions.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this will go to, oh, I guess you
We're
can
gonna
do here.
vote first,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, you got that?
Problem under the table.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, next item will be recommendation meeting for variance 214, Lost Irishman
Just a
LLC.
second. You're too quick. Hold on a second. He needs his second packet.
Okay, yeah, we got some more stuff for you.
The next one is, it goes in front of the county, it goes in front of the Board of Adjustment. And that will be on February 25th at 9:15 a.m. So it's an AM meeting, same room.
Okay.
Okay.
County Commission sitting at the Board of Adjustment.
Yeah, and if you do want copies of those letters, they're right on the wall when you walk out there.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Can I say thank you? And also the weighted idea. There were, I think we had to send 18 letters and we received 4 or 5, I think you said. So
We
there
got
is-
5
There is
back, it
opposition,
looks
and I
like.
think a lot of the opposition is the fact that people don't, understand what the.
Yeah, we want to send everybody's
Yep.
concerns.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Okay. TJ, are you just gonna stay on speakerphone?
I'll try to call back in here on the other line and
Okay.
mute it when I get hooked up, guys. Thank you.
Yep.
Let me close a couple things. Have so much open.
Are we good for legality doing that, Bruce?
What's that?
Having TJ on the speakerphone rather than the official?
It's okay as long as was he present at the time that if he even noted as being present when you started the meeting. So
Yeah.
I think that's okay. If he would have come in after the meeting started, then there's some issue.
Yep.
But so state law would say if there's any negative vote, then you have to do a roll call vote
Yep.
when you're. Does it make sense?
Mhm.
But otherwise, yeah, I think it's just fine.
Okay.
Hey, TJ? Yeah,
Maybe. Somebody.
all right. You ready, Amber? Or you gonna do stuff?
If you're online and not a board member, I need you to make sure that you mute yourself unless you're talking, please. Okay, so you're on to the variance, right?
Yep.
All right, and then, so this one is a variance at, we'll say Terry Peak and, same with the road, just like
Lost
Irishman Road. And this one is requesting a 15.9 foot variance on one corner and 9.7 foot variance on the other corner to the edge of the right of way. And it is to build a garage. There is a full packet that you guys received. There's also an existing residence on the property already. They want to attach the garage to the existing residence, and in order to do that, they need to get closer to Lost Irishman Road. I will note in here that this is going to be following the new variance procedure that took effect. So instead of having the 8 items, remember how we used to have that? It has to meet one of these ones. So I did put those in your staff report so you know what that is, because this will be the first variance application that you guys have received since that new writing went into effect. And that writing does meet current state law. So that's why we moved it, so it's matching it. So if you, whatever way you decide to go, those are the considerations that you have to use in order to make this either approve or deny the application. I believe Mr. Greaves is online. If you look at this, just normal application, and he had Ponderosa do a survey kind of showing you, so it would fall within the, let's say the right of way. And there is the drawing and everything. So it is in your application too that you have. That is pretty much all I have, unless you guys have something else to add to it. Mr. Grieve did write you kind of a, there we go. The original one was that. We had him do a one from the surveyor too, just so you can kind of see the difference. And he did provide you a copy of what he's kind of looking at doing too for his plans. And then there's a letter in here as well. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You guys had a chance to look through that. This just shows you the existing residence, so you can see the photos of it. He's trying to show you kind of the layout and where it's at. This is a good picture to show you. So the road to the left is Lost Irishman Road. The road to the right is his driveway. So that kind of gives you a general idea of where it's at. He wants to build kind of where that tree line is towards the house.
Can I just add that we won't disturb that hill that's between the cabin and Lost Irishman Road. We want that hill to remain there. That gives us some separation between our cabin and Lost Irishman Road.
Is there anything else, I guess, Mr. Grieve, that you want to add? You know, I kind of tried to go through your packet, but if there's anything else, we can have an opportunity to do that.
No, not really. I mean, we just we'd really like to have this addition because my wife and I are both looking at retiring this spring, and we'd like to move out there. And of course, we'd like to have the garage so that we can have a place to park our vehicles inside out of the weather.
Mr. Grieve, I've got the one picture up that you see the little tiny deck. Is that the deck that would get removed, and then your garage would go between basically that side of the house and the hillside, correct?
Right. That's just a step that we have right now, but that would be removed, correct?
Okay. So if that gives you a general idea, because you can't really see it in that other imagery, the garage would attach right here into that. That'd be the doorway, you know, going in. And then it would fall between, there's the side of that house. It'd come this way, but this hillside won't be displaced. Mm-hmm. Does that help a little bit just to see the imagery of it?
Yep.
What's further?
Nothing. Well, it goes to another house way in there. So Lost Irishman Road used to go all the way through. It doesn't anymore.
So what would the?
Yeah, I don't think there's any other, to my knowledge, I don't think there's any other cabins back in there. Because if you go so far, there's a gate across the road.
Yeah. No, it would be way past you, but you can't get all the way through anymore. They've blocked it off on that end.
So the chances of widening that road or developing it future would be slim.
It would be. This is an old wharf road. I mean, it was they used it basically to get through at one point in time. And I just know this because I've been in the office long enough. Brandon Flanagan built this house, and he had, in order to get the access in here, he had to go through Wharf to get, permission to build in there, and it was a whole ordeal. So I do remember that, but they do have access.
Took quite some time to deal with Jim Lesser to remember to get keys to a gate and so forth.
Yeah, so staff recommended denial.
I always recommend denial of a variance because it doesn't meet our setbacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that road right away is there for a reason, our setbacks are there for a reason.
Sure.
And there's not room there to put the garage. So in the past, we've typically denied these exact types of requests. Okay. TJ, are you there?
So can you show that picture on the back side?
Like the house picture.
Right.
Comments, TJ?
So it'd be like from this corner this way, and then there's that.
No,
hillside.
not at this time.
Okay.
So it's basically right in here, and you can't see it, but it's probably like right outside this picture. I mean, it fits just right in there.
I understand why we have the variances and things like that. Out in that part of the country, and I haven't seen that it hurts anything, but we have the rules and regulations as well.
Yep. As the area grows and develops, then it gets to be a problem later on. What's the reason for not being able to put the garage on the back side of the house there? The north side, I guess?
The problem with that drops off so quick right there that there's really not a way to do it.
Okay. Any other discussions? Okay, so this is a recommendation meeting. This is not an information meeting. So we are actually making a recommendation to the Board of Adjustments on this then.
Yep, that's how variances usually are.
Okay.
And we just ask that you reference the considerations that are in the new considerations that are in there. And that's why I printed. I'm going to try to put them in any of these.
And where are those?
On the back page of the staff report.
The very back of the very front page.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Can we just go through these out loud?
Yep, do that.
So the first one says shall find that the variance would not be injurious to the neighborhood or detrimental to the public interest welfare. Well, with that hillside there and the trees, I mean, it's not gonna provide it's not detrimental to the road. I mean, you're not gonna have potential crash situation or anything like that. I doubt it's ever gonna be widened there. So you say that one's not a factor?
Yes, I would agree.
Shall find that special conditions exist such that the particular feature of the property because of some extraordinary exceptional situation.
The slope on the other side prevents it from being built somewhere else, maybe.
Yeah. I guess my argument on that is that there's not room there for the garage.
With a variance, there is.
With a variance,
Yeah.
And then whenever a denial of variance would create peculiar, exceptional, practical difficulties or an exceptional undue hardship.
Okay.
I suppose we could say this time of year not having a garage would be a hardship. I don't see that we have differences of opinion sometimes, but I don't see that out there. It would hurt anything to have
That's
a
what-
garage.
That's why there's more than one of us.
Yes, indeed. And we leave friends.
I agree, I don't see an issue with it.
I make a motion to approve
Second.
You have to give me a reason.
1 and 2.
So A, it's not injurious to the neighborhood or detrimental to the public interest or welfare, and the special condition exists due to the slope. Is that kind of what I heard?
Yes.
Just making sure that's what you want, right? Exists.
At this time, we can't look into the future as to what's gonna happen out there. And it could be a
Do we need this
problem
one too, or
later
do we
on.
just
No,
You're approving it, yep.
I doubt it.
My argument to that is that's why we have the setbacks, is
Yeah.
to allow for the future expansions and things. But, okay, we have a motion, any other discussion?
And we had a second, right?
Yes.
Yep, motion and second to approve. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
So,
we'll do a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Fuller?
right.
Motion or approve.
So I,
Okay, yeah, aye, we'll do aye and nay.
Okay.
So
Aye.
Fuller's aye, Whalen,
Aye.
nay, Comer, Ewing,
Nay.
nay, okay, Shank, nay.
Ewing was an A, right?
Yep.
so how do I say that again, Bruce? So it is, so the motion to approve fails,
Mhm.
right? Because it's a nay vote. So it was a 2-3 vote. Is that
Right, right.
correct?
Yeah, so technically, I've been listening to the legislature, we should probably turn around and have a vote to deny it.
Okay.
Okay, so Bruce recommends that we have another
The
motion.
fails to approve,
Yeah,
basically,
Yeah,
right?
so you have nothing, yeah.
And actually, technically, that motion could be either way, right? It could again be a motion to approve
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, so I
Yep.
I would make a motion.
and then revote.
I'll make a motion to deny. I
Based
don't-
on what
Based
reason?
off, I don't think there's any special condition out there, and I don't think there's any extraordinary or exceptional situation on the property.
Thank you.
Did you hear that motion, TJ?
I did. I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
same sign.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Fuller,
Nay.
Whalen,
Nay.
Comer,
Aye.
Ewing,
Aye.
Shank, aye.
Okay, so the motion to deny passes, and this will go forward to the Board of Adjustment on February 25th at 9:30 a.m. And I believe we have a sign here for you that needs to be put up on the property. So will you guys be out here at all, or do you have someone that can come and get that up?
I'll probably just have my son pick it up.
Okay, he can come in anytime and grab it. The sooner than later is always best, so you can get it up and give people plenty of notice.
Okay?
Okay, so we would go forward with a motion to deny. That's pretty common. I still recommend to people to go forward to, because it's a separate board.
Okay.
Okay, so that is it then. Thank you.
Okay, number 5, preliminary and final plat for James and Laura Rogers.
Okay, this one is just a lot line revision. They basically bought the neighboring lot and they want to combine both together.
So they're combining the entirety of both lots into one.
Yes.
Okay, we do need an exempt, an approval or denial on this one.
Move to accept.
Second.
Discussion on the exemption. All in favor, say aye.
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 Is exempt. And then on the preliminary and final plat.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, and the final plat.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. I'm gonna start saying a name for opposed. That's probably a good idea.
Okay,
All right.
next one.
The,
Black Hills Properties.
yep, final plat for Black Hills Properties.
This is just going through the regular, let me do these in order here so I don't get confused. This one is in Powderhouse Pass under the planned unit development. Properties owned by Black Hills Properties. And this is within Auburn Acres. It's one of the phases in Powderhouse Pass. The infrastructure and fire plan has been designed and bonded for. The development agreement is put in place. The preliminary plat was approved in June of 2024. There were no changes when they submitted the final plat, so it matches the preliminary exactly. Infrastructure's in, there is a bond in place still.
Any questions? We don't need exempt on this one.
Nope.
Move to approve final plat.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay. All right, motion carries. Number 7, preliminary and final plat for Abby Hofert.
All right.
This one we do need exempt on, or not.
So this one is a lot line adjustment, adding approximately 2.03 acres to lot 8. There's currently no infrastructure on either lot, but there is a cistern on the lot 8. The plat is exempt for a lot line adjustment. So it's just moving the lot line. Tahonkala Ridge is an old subdivision. It's been out there. We don't have a lot of lots in there, but they're combining 8 and 9 together.
Okay, first we'll take action on the exemption.
Move to exempt.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries for exemption. And then we have the preliminary and final plat.
Move to approve preliminary.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay.
You know what he meant. You just
Motion
click
carries.
on the draw.
Motion to approve final.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Nay. Motion carries. Okay, final for Jason and Teresa Tompkins.
Okay, this is another lot line adjustment, adding approximately 3.5 acres to lot 5. It is combining lots 5 and 6 of Paradise Acres together. No infrastructure on the lot.
We have the exemption to deal with.
Move to exempt.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, exemption carries. And then we have
Final.
just the final plat on this one. Yeah?
Motion to approve final.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. And motion carries.
Okay. This is Black Hills Properties again, South Ridge Estates, lot 11, block 5. Same thing, PUD. It's in the CID. It was in the revised land use plan contained in the master plan. It's considered Auburn Acres in Phase 6A. There's a memorandum of agreement and a letter of credit. Fire plan's been submitted and it's in the covenants. Water, roads, and drainage infrastructure for this area was completed in December of 2024. The letter of credit has any remaining work in it. Matches the approved preliminary plat, so it's just a final.
Move to approve final.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Number 10, preliminary and final plat for James Christian Estate.
Okay. So this one is a subdivision of lots C1A and C1B off of Whitewood. So the interstate runs on one end of it, but you come in off stage stop, I think is what that's called. You come into Whitewood and have to go by the plant. And then there's that dirt road that goes back up, but you can see this trailer from the interstate, if that kind of helps. But that's kind of how you're getting there. This one is Jim Christensen had originally owned all this. We have lots of past with Mr. Christensen because he liked to collect things. So we've had to deal with him over the years. All of his stuff was on the other side of this. He cleaned it up, but then buried it in the trees on the opposite side. It's still there. But Mr. Christensen has passed away, and this is with his executor of the land, which is Phyllis Reller. And she would like to be able to keep the trailer, but is looking at trying to subdivide off one of the lots so she can stay in the residence. So that's kind of what they're doing. So they're trying to subdivide the two. Zoned rural residential, they did do a change of zoning a couple of years ago. Mr. Christensen did a change of zoning on that. There is a septic system already with a shop on C1A. C1B does have an old cabin and a garage on it, but there's no infrastructure at all to the buildings. The cabin is not habitable, does not have any modern structure that could be lived in. And it looks like the EQ office currently does not have it on the tax rolls as a residential structure. It's just sitting there. The fire plan was conducted and there's no mitigation needed. So we're looking at a preliminary and final plat submitted.
Okay. Any other questions?
Move to approve preliminary.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries.
Move to approve final.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Alright, motion carries. Final plat for Kloss Development. Lot 18 of Dakota Highlands Estates.
All right, lot 18, Dakota Highlands, 318 acre park forest zone development. The original preliminary plat was approved in January of 2022, and then a revision in August of 2024. We went from 66 lots down to 27 larger lots, lowering the overall density. It matches the approved preliminary plat.
Okay, fire plan is completed. And
Yes. Fire plan's in place, yeah.
it matches the preliminary.
Matches the preliminary.
Okay. Any other questions?
And Kayla is online, or one of the classes is online. Looks like Kayla, if you have any questions.
Move to approve final.
Okay. Yep.
Second.
Okay, any discussions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, layout plan for Four Bears in the Hills.
It's just wanted to hang out all day long. All right. So this one is, since you guys are here, I'm gonna let you talk. How about that?
Okay.
Brad, go for it. Tell me which one you
All
want
right,
up there.
Brad Limbo with All Aspects Corporate Land Surveying, address 444 St. Joe Street, Spearfish, South Dakota.
You want the layout or the summary? Which one would you?
I think really just going to the map is probably
Okay.
all that's needed unless there's questions and we can answer those. So here today also with us is Ganesh Engineering, Anthony and Neil, working on behalf of Mike. So there's been a lot of discussion, there's been a lot of development out at Apple Springs. There was an original preliminary plat that was created back in 2006, 2008 timeframe. And basically as the development moved forward, it pretty much followed that preliminary plat. throughout that entire process. This portion of the development has not been developed at this point. And at the time of that original preliminary plat, the golf course moved up onto that top of the hill. So the original golf course layout went up here onto the top of this property and kind of changed the way some of the layouts would have worked up there. So this is just a look at where Mike is looking to go in the future. It's a layout, so it's still movable or whatnot. But this kind of shows that there's a development phasing in progress. There's a thought process going through it. They know where they're going. Banesh is working on a water and sewer plan for that whole area, road designs, all of those things. And I guess we just wanted to get it in front of you guys. So ideally, where this is probably going to go as this develops, this is existing lower portion of Apple Springs. These are developed lots and paved road. This was a new phase that went in, is completed. This is a new phase that's completed, and this portion here would be starting to move up the hill into Apple Springs. So the next few phases of the Apple Springs development will probably be the first two roads that come off of here. So bringing the road up, developing out this area and this area here. At that time, engineering, road designs, that sort of stuff will be all the way to the top of the hill with emergency fire access and a turnaround at the top. There's been studies done on what that road design looks like, and it's pushing the limits as far as the county road standards go. But we do have letters from the fire chiefs in our hands, and I don't know if they've been sent forward, but that the fire chief has looked at it, feels like the plan would be agreeable, and they don't really see concerns with it. Is my
which limits is it pushing, slope or?
So yeah, it would be slope, and when you start pushing that, the standards kind of talk about you can only be at certain grades of percent in a curve and different things, and so we're going to be kind of teetering on the edge of those the whole way.
10%'s the max typically, unless the fire chief thinks you can do a little more. We kept it to 13, and then we've made an intersection when you first come up, because he was concerned that this used to be a curve. This was a curve, and now we made that into an intersection, so he can stop, it flattens out, and then he makes a left turn, and that way he can get up with his equipment now. So, and then obviously he would want a good winter maintenance plan submitted.
And the other thing about that portion of the area, so I know in other developments we've worked on, there's been situations where we had pushed those limits as well, just to be able to get to certain areas, and it's been approved in the past with certain things added if necessary, if you needed guardrails and things like that. It had been approved. In this area here specifically, there's no sharp drop-offs, there's no cliffs. If you're coming down that hill and you're out of control or something, you're not going to go over some big ravine. There's no real major safety concerns other than it is steeper. And so it's going to be just this portion here, basically that seems it's at the end of your slope requirements. Once you get up on top of Apple Springs up here, it's all fairly level. There's no concerns up there with any slopes or pushing any grades or anything. So that area up there is very flat and usable and just really good property essentially. So we just wanted to kind of get it in front of you guys to say this is kind of where it's going. And the next phase of that preliminary and final plat would be probably from this point to the top of the hill here, working on these two main sections. We're trying to dedicate the road and the right of way, the road designs, all that, all the way to the top of the hill.
So how many lots are served by that road that goes up there?
All the way to the top, everything included?
Yeah, so the steep part right there, how many lots are served by that?
I think total, it's like 70, 73-ish.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be quite a bit of traffic on that then. Is that gonna be a paved road or a gravel road?
It will end up being paved. Everything up there is paved.
It'll be consistent with the rest of Apple Springs right now.
So can we look at our road requirements, please? I don't remember how that actually reads.
I think in the past, what I remember is we could go to 10%, you could exceed it to 13% for periods of time, and it has to go break, and it has to level out.
Yeah,
As
there's
far
like
as,
a distance or something, I think, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
and then you're not supposed to exceed it in radiuses. But when it does come forward, all those things will be identified, what exceptions we're asking for.
Yeah.
Those types of things.
Just the road and street one.
Yeah.
And as we get closer, it may be one of those situations where it makes sense to do a site visit to kind of look at that specifically, that area.
Yeah.
What is your intention for secondary access out of there? On the
So,
top side?
Up on top. So there's Forest Service access out of the top of the property. Mr. Short owns this blue chunk of ground here, and he also owns another 160 acres north of that. And you can see a road that kind of comes in. That's the tail end of Crook Mountain Road. And so for emergency access, emergency easement, and egress, that would probably be the primary
Does
route.
he have that from the Forest Service?
Yeah.
That's a locked gate all winter long. They do not open it. And
I
the
think-
last I heard, they were not going to allow him to get through there. So you may want to work on that.
Yeah.
So secondary egress in the event of
On that top
emergency
side.
from
Yeah.
the top end.
Especially with 70 lots, I'd really like to see another access and another. There could be a lot of people trying to get out of there in a hurry.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully, yep, hopefully.
I think in light of stuff that's going on other places, I think that's going to be important in this with this many lots in there. So, and maybe they've changed their mind, but the last time, if I remember right, that he tried, they said, no, they will keep it locked. And it's not passable in the winter time. I know that, but.
Is the Sturgis Fire Chief the right fire code official?
Yes, they're in the Sturgis Fire District right there. Yep.
Okay. So what would be the odds of putting that road at a little bit different angle? It looks like by the topographic lines, there's kind of a draw along it there.
Yeah, it's going up through a draw in there.
Yeah.
It's really kind of hard to reroute it and kind of lessen any kind of grade. I mean, it is kind of, you're kind of stuck in that location. I mean, I let him talk to it, he's the engineer, but.
No, we looked at two options and kept coming back to this one. We were trying to see if we could like lengthen it, so we kind of come back here. There was some original thing, but I think it was like a 2-tracker, but it's not, it doesn't get any better. It gets worse. Cause really it's right here is the painful part. Otherwise, this is all pretty flat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a ledge here.
So where's the 14% grade actually at?
It's 13 and it's like right
13.
here.
Right in there, isn't
right
it?
in here. Yep.
And
Because
for
here's
how far is that?
like from after this cul-de-sac to right here, and then we flatten it out.
How far is that though?
Like 700 feet maybe.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. Because I think this whole thing's like 13 or no.
Yeah, I think it was 13,
15-ish,
15.
yeah.
15, I think maybe.
So less than half.
And I think that 15 is from like the paved surface to the top of the hill.
Yep. And I mean, it's that part's already kind of cut in by the contractor. So I've gone up and down it with just a 2-wheel vehicle, and I think as long as there's good traction and good maintenance in the winter, they're not gonna have any issue.
Potentially grooving or.
Yeah, maybe even some improvised stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's concerning, but like you say, it meets the requirements. So.
Well, it doesn't meet the requirements.
Well, yeah, with the.
So what they say, I think I read that it's 10% or as
Short
approved by the
distances of
fire.
200 feet or less.
Oh,
Or-
yeah, that's the number I was looking for. Is it
200 feet or less, or they can ask.
Yeah.
To get some, why can we do this? This
Mhm.
is how they've looked at it. They're okay with it. They can submit that information, and then you guys and the county commissioners would have to decide if you're comfortable with that or not, basically.
I think the big thing, just the big thing that the fire chief had said was because there's a community water system with hydrants and there's gonna be a water tank up there at the top of the hill right here. So he's gonna be able to get up there with equipment to then hook into that system.
So in theory, he's not gonna be going up that grade.
He's not doing porta tanks and tender trucks. Yeah.
But this is, so we started looking at this, you know, they submitted it and there was just some stuff. Originally it was submitted as a preliminary plat. We started looking at it, we're like, let's go ahead and, you know, back off to a layout to kind of get some of these questions answered. They just wanted to know what some of your concerns were as they were going into it. The biggest ones I saw was, I think if you would approve that access coming in, I do think this is very similar to the one that we required guardrail on, so I could see that being a requirement. I also think that having that secondary access would make a big difference versus having this with no guardrail and no secondary access. So I think those two would be my recommendations if I was looking at this, is just like without that secondary, I wouldn't be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
With that many lots on the top side.
Secondary access, and then I'd really like to see it under 10% too. That 13%, that's pretty steep.
Should we consider it on-site before, when the weather stands up?
We are doing.
Yeah, you guys, this is kind of when you can do it on-site at any time if you want to. It's just a matter of picking a day that we can get in and out of there.
Well, and the other thing is, I think right now in the middle of winter may not be the best time to go up there. I think if we can take a look at when we're going to bring forward a preliminary plat on those other two phases with the road stuff, and maybe try to get something coordinated. I don't know what that timeline looks like for sure.
Because the first part of this preliminary, you're looking at just doing kind of that bottom piece, right? So we would have road profiles.
Yeah, so this road to the top, turn around. And then these two cul-de-sacs, and then this block 20 and block 21. That's the first to go.
Miller Ranch over in Spearfish had a section of steep road the city was concerned about, and they put that high traction surface application.
Is that coming down across from the entrance in the sandstone?
Yes, yes.
Yep, that's Miller Ranch on the left there.
At that entrance, because there's two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I think both entrances actually have it, but.
Like Hayward Hill's 16% going up the keys.
So I think this is where normally we would say that, you know, they can ask for a difference, but they have to have something with it. I think, you know, maybe the traction stuff would be something to look at. If there's some things that you can offer, because we do have areas like this. I know the only thing we've seen that we've approved is with the guardrail. That's the only thing I have for an example.
Yeah.
And that's the one in Tubet. We have guardrail on that subdivision.
Did we have an area road out off of Terry Peak Summit?
Deer Mountain has some 13%.
Yeah, Deer Mountain has some too.
How
Well, the
long
Deer
were
Mountain
those
subdivision.
sections?
They were, I think you gave an exception, but they weren't real
They were-
long.
They were like 300
Like
or 400.
300 or 400 feet. This is a little longer than what we normally see for an exception. I want to say 406 in my head on that one.
And I do think a site
We
visit
might
would
be
probably
close to that.
alleviate a lot of concerns when you start looking at guardrails and things, you know.
You said
There are
there's
some
not any
areas-
real bad drop offs or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why the one I know in
Dave
Boulder
Winters
Canyon that we did, Dave Winters, that was a bad drop off there.
Yeah,
So
that
that's-
went off
I mean,
the
it was
side.
like,
Yeah.
so they said, no, you have to do guardrail. That was.
You know, it's 70 lots. You're looking at quite a bit of potential traffic there, though, and that's a lot of meeting and stuff on a really steep road. So.
Yeah, I know it sounds like a lot, 13, but I guess the site visit would really help you.
Yeah.
When you get out, when it's nice weather, and you get out there and you see because it has like sides to it, you know, because they cut it down the top of that hill to get up to it. That's a lesser grade.
So I think my question is going to be, when you do the phased approach on this, I think you're going to have to do a phasing map to show those different phases, because if you don't bring the full profile in, I can't approve just this. Does that make sense?
Well, and I
Correct?
think that's
You know
the
what
importance
we're-
of dedicating the right of way all the way to the top of the hill.
Okay.
Because if we're gonna be doing, a preliminary and a final on these two bottom phases, and we're building asphalt roads up to those, we need to know all the way to the top of the hill,
Okay.
because at the end of the day, what gets approved at the bottom has to get us to the top, and if it's not gonna get approved, then we have to make adjustments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why it'll come as a dedication all the way to the top.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think, to me, what I hear is, looking at that emergency egress, possible guardrail, maybe traction control of some sort. And then you'll just have to present it for information, when we go forward. If we can do an on-site in there, I think that would maybe be beneficial, but
Do
we
you
have to
guys
discuss.
typically do that before the preliminary plat, or would it be?
Well, because you
bring it
have
to-
to have,
Yeah,
with the
we-
preliminary plat, you have to have all your road profiles and
Yeah.
stuff. And normally, since that's where I'm hearing the questions are gonna be, I would say they're gonna probably wanna do an on-site.
Prior to.
Either prior to, or be willing to present the information, then schedule an on-site and then come back. I mean, I think either way, just don't expect to see a approval without going out there.
Yeah, and I
Does
think
that make sense?
I can get you the road, I have the road profiles already. So I can get you those so you can see them before you come out, kind of have
Yeah.
them printed out. And then you can kind of see where you're at in that road profile and how long those kind of steeper areas are.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we can't, so if you want, you guys have to talk amongst yourselves and decide how you want to do process on this. But road profiles would have to go to a next meeting because we're all here today. So you would want to maybe, you can submit those whenever for the next meeting, and we can put it on the agenda just as another kind of overview, and then we can schedule an on-site, kind of see how the weather is. We're going to be getting there where we're either going to have a lot of snow or it's going to start to melt. So we're kind of in that time window now, so.
And what you said also about, given the fact that the number of lots, that this is an urban interface area, coupled with the topography, I think the secondary egress that'd be kind of a deal breaker if you don't have it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's, you've got a lot of thickness between Crook Mountain Road and this property.
Yeah.
That's my concern from a fire standpoint.
Yeah, I agree.
So, have you looked at fire plan on this yet? That would
So
also
the entire
be-
property went through the Forest Service, did some fire mitigation stuff up there. So there's been a lot of clearing and thinning and a lot of work done up there. So that's another piece that
You have to do a
they've been
full fire
doing it-
plan on it anyways.
as soon as it goes to a new preliminary ends. So
Well, you're there.
this is an entire new piece of what the bottom is.
Exactly. So you're looking at a brand new fire plan for this property.
Correct.
Okay. And that's due with a preliminary plat submittal as well.
How much water storage will you have in that tower?
So the second tower, I think it's 130,000 gallons. So it's enough for a residential fire for 2 hours. And there's the well that's at the base of the hill. So the plan is to utilize the existing booster station that's there, that feeds like 4 houses right now, to feed this next phase, which is like almost parallel to it. So like this were here, you'd see the booster stations right here. It feeds this road, Legends Court. It stubs out there, that line. So it just continued to this cul-de-sac and cut across. So then that would be that phase. And then when these are sold, then this phase comes next, and that's where the new tank is. And so then we would disconnect that, connect the dedicated line to the tank from that booster station. And this would come out of the high system. That has to kind of happen in that order.
And I am just gonna throw it out there. I know Mike is aware of it because I've been on the phone with him the last week. Road district / sanitary district / all that fun stuff is worried about this. I've been on the phone with the head of the sanitary district. They're just trying to figure out how this is all gonna tie together, if they have to take that on and whatnot. So I'm just giving you a heads up that they are concerned about it. I would bet that as a preliminary plat comes in, they're probably going to be present.
So I have a meeting with them tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So
Yep.
There's kind of a concern, well, they're kind of like extrapolating what was spent to date on, it's mainly sanitary.
Yes.
And it's like let's say there was $1.2 million spent on the sewer treatment plant to date, and that's like 147 homes, let's say. They're afraid that that's another than 1.2 to do another 147, but it doesn't really, because there's a lot of stuff that's already there that serves the whole build out. So it's more like a third or, less than half of that cost, which then can be absorbed by these new residents. So I just got to go over that with them.
Is that what this technical memorandum's in here
Yeah,
for?
that's from us. Yeah.
Because this is my background, so.
Good.
I'm interested, are they rotating biological contactors?
Yep.
They don't know if there's enough of them. Sounds like.
There's 4, and so, and a lot of that biological process happens in the first 1 and
Right.
2. But basically 147 is determined as the capacity of the current treatment system. They're at 80 homes right now,
Right.
so there's quite a bit still left of taps. But they're modular, so there's enough room in that building to double that. But the
Right, and I
building's the
guess that's
same
why I was
building.
wondering why this technical memorandums. Honestly, I was going through it going, I don't know if it's gonna do it or not.
Yeah.
I'm reading this technical memo.
Yeah, so originally, just because you weren't here when Apple Springs was originally
Yeah, I
done,
was
just so you
originally
kind of
here.
know. So this is the there's 4 in there now. It started with 1, then they added
Right.
another one. So basically, we know that every time they add
They gotta add
phases,
another phase to the wastewater treatment.
and we look at it as they have to have enough from the total final plats.
Mhm.
That's what I look at it. It's
I agree
not
with
how
that.
many, if there's
How many are developed?
300 houses there, we have to know that there's enough to hold all 300 houses.
Or the platted areas.
The platted.
Yeah, everything that's
Right.
there. If they ask for 300
Right.
plats or
I think
300
that's what
final
this was
plats,
probably
they have
put
to
in
have
there, that
300.
that's being
Yeah.
looked at.
Yep, and they knew that sooner or later there was going to have to be an extension of that service. I mean, that's not a surprise. It was just where are they at? Well, so when building permits are issued for actual hookups,
Mhm.
we have that list.
Yes.
And once we hit a certain point, we're going to say
It's
no more
done, no more.
until you add. And that's what happened. How long ago, Brad? 10 years ago?
So when Mike Short bought the property, got ownership of the property at the very beginning, he's done a lot of things to make sure that they're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And he's being proactive and working.
Well, I would say he was putting that in there as being proactive because he's looking at it.
Yeah, because
making sure
10
it's
years
gonna
ago, we put a moratorium on all building permits in Apple Springs because they did not have enough capacity.
Good.
And then it sat for 4 or 5 years.
When we look at capacity on something like this, do we take into account that a large majorities are going to be rentals? So instead of a 4-person family, you're going to have 15 people drinking beer and partying.
They have been looking at it, and their capacity is, how do I want to put it? It's getting used sometimes of the year more, which
Yeah, for sure.
let's say they only have 80 houses, let's say. It's getting used more than that.
And one,
Basically.
to address your point, so the way it works is the collection system all brings everything down to 8 tanks, underground tanks.
Mm-hmm.
So those tanks let the solids, they're all connected at the top, and only the last one gets to the treatment plant. So all the solids settle in those tanks. During rally and during the really high peak tourist season, those tanks get pumped out more frequently.
Yep.
So the solids, which is coming from all those additional users, get taken away before the effluent off the top gets to the treatment plant.
So do they haul that to like the center?
Like Hill Septic or something, yeah, hauls it out.
So and again, I'm giving you some history because you guys weren't here with us. So those originally, that was a holding tank setup.
Yeah.
And it was holding tanks, which is part of why we had the moratorium, because they never put that first phase in. So then when everything started falling apart down there, that's why we stopped everything. But the holding tanks remain, so they've been able to utilize them for that extra because they were already in the ground.
Surge.
So it kind of worked out well in this system. And the first system was made in, I think it came from overseas somewhere.
Turkey.
The second system ended up being made here, if I remember right.
Canada,
They
yeah,
had to
some
do some
Canadians
US
bought it.
stuff, and it was kind of a weird thing to get stuff. So they did that. And it's, honestly, we have not, since it's been actively working, I've not had to go down there at all. We don't get, they have a permit to let water out. I mean, it's
I was
worked
just
really
curious
well.
why that was
Yeah.
included in here.
Yep.
Yeah, so we also wanted to look at that from the capacity,
Right.
but also optimization. So like Mike wanted to know what little things he could do to keep that level there. Because, you know, there's some winter cold.
And
that can
bacteria are
influence.
very touchy to temperature change.
Yeah, so we modeled the cold temperature.
Very oxygen depleted or
Exactly,
oxygen.
exactly. So adding a little air would keep that number up high. There is heating elements that were in the original design of the basin. They're electric, so they're probably not very efficient. But there'd be like hot water, it's just natural gas there.
But it's helping with the biological activity, breaking all that down.
Keeping that in the higher water temperature.
So back to Kelly's question.
But there's like 25 people there right now. That's just pretty dead.
So and Kelly's question about the amounts for the rental versus the normal house, the state a while ago was working on changing some of those regulations, weren't they, to account for that? Did they actually get that done, do you know? It didn't actually happen.
I don't think so.
So right now,
We
design's not
did
gonna
though.
include-
No,
Yeah, we changed that,
we
didn't we?
changed our rules, but that's for septic systems now. This is all engineered. We
Yeah,
don't
we
have
don't
much
have
for
it.
this. We do have some stuff in there.
we can
But
approve
they
it
are
tonight if we
looking-
don't like it, but
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely want to make sure that we're accounting for that, because like you say, I mean, you get 15 people in a house, it's way different than 5.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot better results out of that since we changed our little bit of rule.
Probably more likely to burn a house down too, actually.
Yeah.
Just leave a note that says they can't use the restroom as frequently as they normally do.
Yeah, they're gonna get 2 bathroom breaks per
Yeah.
evening or something. Just gotta go
If it's
outside.
yellow, let it mellow.
Yeah,
That's it.
there you go.
I think it's important too, where you've been proactive, like what you just read, and that means a lot to the board,
Yeah.
that you're
I'm gonna see if I still.
proactive in looking ahead of things.
Does everything there gravity flow to the holding tanks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good. Makes it a little simpler.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty good steep. That's the part of the road being steep.
Yeah, too steep.
Get a little bonus there, it goes down, you know? Yep. So.
And
I used to
know-
have a video on how they worked. I don't know if I still have
To
it.
talk about what you're thinking is a couple of places there at Nemo, and this young lady might have been involved with that. But when they changed it from a residential to a VRBO with 23 people, they had to go in and add on to the septic system and drain fields. So, and I think those were some of the new rules that we made.
So this is for you. So we took pictures when they were installing these originally. And we still have them in here, just to give you a general, it's under the ground.
Yeah.
And then this is. I got a video. Does that help? And then now these are all inside of the structure. So they used to just sit outside. And that was so they could work on be out in the elements and stuff. Yeah. So there you go. I do have, if you ever,
Nice.
we have these.
Yeah, that's cool.
This was from.
Oh, I thought they were RCP.
Yeah. But I don't know, we did these in
Yeah.
probably
Which
2008 or 9.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what Homestake used for water treatment for,
Yeah.
in fact, they're just updating theirs up there. Surf.
Miranda, that was the original unit.
Yeah.
The
Big
Miranda
ones
unit.
up there.
Technology's been around since
this?
1950.
Wow.
Those
Yeah.
are the big
Really?
ones,
Yeah.
but they're replacing them with something else. That was early.
Okay, so for today then, what do we need to do with this? Do we need to table
It's just
it,
a
or-
layout plan.
Right.
So you
There's
just,
no
I mean,
approval
really, there's
of
no,
that.
it's just, they wanted to know kind of before
Yep.
they took that next step, what concerns do you have, so they knew to come in with.
So
what they
secondary
needed.
access and try to shallow that road out a little bit.
Yeah,
I think propose some mitigation for
I
that
think it's,
steepness.
yeah, I played a lot with it to try to get it as low, as
Yeah.
flat as I could. So yeah, definitely. So I have second access, forestry service letter, guardrail requirement, traction control, maybe in that area to mitigate. And then I'll submit road profiles prior to scheduling the site visit.
Yep.
And then, full fire plan, for this new phase.
Yep.
Okay, does anybody have any other concerns?
And I will say this is so keep in mind, Apple Springs was phased years ago. This is still within their phasing. So this isn't new, this is just now they're getting to the point of design. But this was all included in that original stuff. They did add some acreage to it because he had bought the adjacent property, which is good.
How many existing lots is there right now? They're platted and ready to go?
I'd have to look at it, but we do have that information.
And so Amy
Amy tracks it every time a plat
Mostly
comes in.
full, or how is it doing?
It's gotta be getting, not
That's
housing,
not what number
but
you go by, but yeah, I mean, it's, you know, as far as homes go,
about 80.
yeah, there's not as many platted lots on the bottom. I think we're about half. The bottom versus the top is maybe a little more than half, but
yeah.
I know Amy, when she was running the numbers, she said it was getting close, but I don't know.
It's under 80 at the moment because of the water meters. And
Well, we're talking housing versus lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think originally, the original
It's like
development with the original master plan, I think they had approvals up around the 400 number. They're not going to be anywhere near that.
Yeah.
And so they're well under that, and they're not going to ever get to that.
No, they've combined a lot of lots and
Yeah, there's a lot of
density wise and changed stuff over the years. So.
She said they're currently at 235 final platted lots.
There you go. 235 final platted lots right now.
How many houses? 80 some?
I think there's about
just under 80.
right at 80.
She's typing.
It's fine.
She said no clue on houses.
Water, in terms of water rights, it's like it could do 398 plus 2 commercial.
Yep.
Like 5,000 square foot commercial. 10,000.
Okay.
This was one of the original PUDs that we did in the county.
You guys have any other questions or concerns? Or?
No, that's what we needed.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, so we just say that we're done with that one for today then, right?
Yep.
Yep, they know
Thank
where to
you.
go
We have
from
our
here.
action items. Thank you. That's what we need.
All right. Future land use map and text.
See you, Brad.
Do we want to do this today with TJ and Rick and Eric all done?
That's up to you guys. I mean, I
You guys
have
wanna go
not,
through it?
I have not provided anything
Yeah.
new because that was kind of up to you guys to look at it and give ideas of where you were at. I did get an email from the, can't think of her name.
The group that did
The group, yeah, I can't think of the gal's
SE
name.
Group?
Yeah, SE Group's the company, but the gal, she did just touch base with you, just asking if there was anything else you guys just needed, you know, did we need anything? Are we doing, is there anything that they need to be involved in? I told them for right now that we're just still working on it.
I think the text as a Word document would be great.
I did send that to you.
You did?
Yeah, I got it.
I sent it, I don't know, a while ago, like a couple days after the meeting,
I'm gonna better go check. I've been waiting for it.
because I did.
Tomorrow.
I can send it again, but I did send it out to you guys. And then so Spearfish, if anybody's been following, they kind of went through very similar to what happened to us. They are still working on it as well. They did not adopt anything. And we have kind of made the executive decision between departments of Spearfish and us. We are going to move forward with the joint powers map, the new map, and we're going to move forward with the possible rewrite of that joint powers ordinance, or the 3 mile ordinance, the plating jurisdiction.
That's been pending for a number of years.
Yes, but that's kind of a separate thing to this, but I think we've kind of decided that if we can get that out of the way, it might help this part a little bit. Because that will alleviate, I think, a lot of some of the concerns, because that plating jurisdiction area is going to shrink quite a bit. Spearfish is basically their staff and planning, and I think even their city council has looked at the first draft of map that we have. There's a couple changes we need to make, but they were comfortable with the changes that we had proposed. There was one little area that at first they said they didn't want it, but then when they looked at kind of their overall water sewer kind of extension stuff going on, they felt that maybe they should keep that area. And that was St. Ange Road, the Almanza property,
Exit
that
17.
kind of area right there. They originally wanted it out, but now they decided, no, that really does make sense to be in. So that I have to go back and amend the map there.
So they might actually annex that then?
No, they won't annex it, but they want it in their 3 mile plating jurisdiction for plating requirements, which makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And so I was really surprised when it went through their process. That was really about the only kind of thing. There was maybe one other little property that we had to change, but we had a pretty good discussion on that. And so we are, they hired their new attorney. I know you've met him. It was with him to just kind of review. And then once we get that review from them, then Bruce and I will go through it. So we're hoping here in the next month and a half or so, we can hopefully
Be done with that.
have that part at least on the track of going through public hearing and stuff. But I think overall, that'll change the whole boundary that we had like in our future land use map and some of that too. So I think that'll help. And then the next step after that is the 3 mile plating actual regulations. It's the old ordinance.
ETJ.
Yeah, it's ETJ. I can't remember its number. 0805. I don't know, something.
Right here, if you want.
Yeah, you got it. 8581. Does that sound right?
1983.
No, it's called something. So then once we get that out of the way, that will also help a lot. Yeah, that one right there.
Ordinance 571.
571. I was close. I said 581. So then that document is the next step. But we can't do that till we have the boundary fixed. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of working on that while we're sitting over here still working on these future land use maps.
Yeah.
So we have done a lot. It just doesn't seem like it, but we're very close on that finally. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, number 14, items from planning and zoning board members. Okay. I have one thing. At Butte Electric, we're getting ready to probably come to start talking about a CUP for a new shop building on the Steinmeier property along St. Ange Road. We're looking at a building that will have some office space and then mostly a shop space for the line crews to work out of. And then there'll be things like we're looking at having a community room that would have like a kitchen and a large meeting room with a projector, tables and chairs and stuff that anybody could use. So that room will be locked interior to be separated out from the rest of the building. It'll be used by Butte Electric too, but like if anybody wanted to have a meeting or a get together or an anniversary party or anything, there'll be a room available for that we're looking at doing.
Gaming machines.
Probably not gaming machines, no. Probably no hot dog stand either. There will be a kitchen area in there where you could make some stuff like that. And then just basically be able to have the line crews work out of there. Nice. And then a little bit of a backup. The headquarters is going to stay at the headquarters building in Newell. So we kind of like to have that building be kind of a backup plan. So if the Chinese bomb the Newell building, we can move everybody over there and keep working, or if anything power goes out in Newell or the gas goes out or whatever, we can move everybody to Spearfish and keep going. So that's going to be, it'll probably be a little bit yet, but that's going to be coming for that request. So
I know what I want to say.
I'll say it.
Change zoning.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a CUP, but I already told them that when I talked to them.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna push the same discussion, the reason why you denied a change of zoning for a subdivision right next to it.
Mhm.
That is not a CUP property. They are putting way too much infrastructure into it to have a conditional use permit. But that's just my saying. I already said that once. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
They can, I
Well,
think they
consider
can
it.
apply for a CUP.
Mhm.
I don't see any issue with that. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
But
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I can report that if you're interested, there's going to be a hearing on the Save Centennial Valley versus Lawrence County case. So Judge Strawn has been appointed to the case. I didn't know whether we would get a local judge or if it would get sent down to Rapid City, but Judge Strawn's going to hear that. And of course, that's the case where they're appealing the county commission's decision regarding the Board of Adjustment change, right? And so we've got a briefing deadline to be filing briefs and so forth. But if you're interested, and I'll remind you again later on in March on the 26th, there's a hearing. Said I don't know that that's going to be any decision making done that day, but that's the opportunity for the court to kind of have all the briefs by then. The court could make a decision that day. I don't know.
So a hearing on the 26th?
Yeah, at I think it's at 9.
And that's gonna be here then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be on second floor probably.
in the courtroom. And this is really interesting because I'm right now, it really is difficult. I'm having to tell everybody that comes in for a CUP, just so you know, right now it's a Board of Adjustment.
Yeah.
But depending on what happens with this court case, we may have to change our process again. It'll revert back, basically. We just don't know what, so I'm trying to give people a heads up because a CUP takes 3 months. Well, right in the middle of this is this.
Yeah.
So we're starting it one way, but it might be that I have to go backwards and go the other way depending on what happens with this.
What are your thoughts on that, Bruce? Which way do you think it's going?
Yeah, it's at 9. I'm very optimistic. I haven't had a lot of discussion with the opposing counsel, but I think that my understanding is their arguments are pretty much the same that they put in their application for writ of certiorari, right? So I don't know that there's been any cases that we missed, any sort of groundbreaking legal theories apart from what we know. So I remain very optimistic, and I think there's more argument to be made, but I think it can be distilled down to what we've said at meetings before. So counties are creatures of statute that only have the authority vested to them by statute. There are some implied powers or inferred powers that counties have, but basically it's some of those that are expressly stated by the legislature, right? You can look at the statute right now and you can see that the Board of Adjustment is clearly vested with the ability to approve CUPs. What you can't see anywhere is whether the county commission, acting as county commission, is vested with that power. So only the county commission, acting as the Board of Adjustment, can clearly be vested with that authority. Does that make sense? And so that's just like legal 101 as far as I can tell. So for that reason alone, I would say that our argument is the more persuasive argument. So I think for the court to rule against us, the court is going to have to find that the county commission, acting as county commission, has some implied or inferred right to approve CUPs. Why would you infer or imply a right when there's an express right in there? So the argument then is if the legislature would have intended to have for the county commissioners to do that, you wouldn't have to rely on an implied right. They would have expressly said so. Or they could have changed their mind since then. So that argument to me is the most persuasive argument. There's more to be made, sort of this comprehensive governing scheme, but I'm very optimistic. You never know till you know, though.
Yeah.
This is the kind of case that I think will probably end up at the Supreme Court.
Interesting. Is there any, with that argument, is there any risk there or thought that possibly that any CUPs that have been approved by the county commissioner in the past would become void or anything?
No, I think they would all be grandfathered in. Okay. I'm not concerned.
Because our policies were that's what we did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really worried about that. That would, yeah.
Could there be a case where we would need to renew them all, or at the annual reviews, would they be approved by the county or the Board of Adjustments then?
Well, right now, I think if they'd come in, we would follow the Board of Adjustment way.
Well, right. So yeah. So I don't think that if the outcome isn't how we hope, that we can cure things by after the fact by having the Board of Adjustment then act on it. I think the cure, if it would be necessary, would have to go back. They would be void from the beginning. They would have to all be reapproved by the appropriate body. Does that make sense? I'm not really concerned about it at this point. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So I'm
that's interesting.
I'm hopeful. Yeah, because, someone would have to go back and challenge one of those, and why would you go back and, there would be an argument of being grandfathered in, or the statute of limitations is run, why would you go back and it'd have to be a really controversial CUP that you would go back on and go challenge now, I don't think anybody's gonna do that.
Okay.
I don't know
So
why.
would the annual reviews be done by Board of Adjustments now then too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want support during the hearing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, that'd be great. Like support.
What date is it again?
March 26th.
At 9. Yeah, so it's a ways off. And as I get briefs and things, I'll try to share them I'll share them with Amber. She can share them with you so you can see what's going on. Rich Williams is a smart guy, done a lot of research already. They'll be on it. I think we're in great hands.
I'm keeping some entities updated on that, so the
Yeah.
information can get out to me and get distributed appropriately.
It may be, I don't know, that some entities may want to join what's known as an amicus brief, or friends of the court brief. Sometimes that happens, where they want to say, we're not a party to it, but we want to join, and we kind of, this could affect us, and so we want to join. The court has to allow amicus briefs, but that's a possibility there, that there might be some groups that want to do that. Make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, we've had amicus briefs in the past on an issue years ago. It was a Tinto Valley case, as a matter of fact. Roger Telling, he represented Frawley Ranches, and they intervened. They actually they actually intervened. So that's another option too. Is there may be groups that want to intervene, which is more formal as opposed to just filing an amicus brief. We're gonna make some law one way or another.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Any
Public comment?
Yes. So, Helene, Eddie, and myself are here today to kind of make a brief discussion. So, Helene has a property that sits in Lawrence County along Maitland Road. It sits within the 3-mile plating jurisdiction and the ETJ standards. And even with the change of map, whatever's coming, I highly doubt she's going to be out of that anyway. She'll still be involved. So, we've submitted a sketch plat to City of Spearfish. That sketch plat, she has approximately 20 acres. There's currently 2 lots in there. We're just making a lot line adjustment to better use the land for what they have out there for her daughter. It's not a development. It's not starting something new. It's just a continuation of what they've been doing. In 1976, that plat was created. The original plat was created by Voorhees. I meant to have it here so I could show it to you. 1976, it was created, and Maitland Road was dedicated as a 66-foot public access easement. The property lines went to the center line of the road, and so they own all the way down to the center of the right-of-way. In 1983, the ESTJ, those standards were created and approved. ESJ? ETJ, sorry. I've said it a lot, I should know. And that was in 83. In 1996, this property was replatted, and the property line stayed in the center line of the road. And it was an existing 66-foot public access easement.
It met the ETJ standards at the time, is what you told me before, right?
Correct.
That's the takeaway here,
Yep.
right?
And so now she's asking to do a lot line adjustment. The City of Spearfish, having the jurisdiction on 3 miles, has required her to dedicate the entire 50 feet. So in order to meet the master transportation plan, we'd have to dedicate another 17 feet, which she's offered to do. She said, we will dedicate 17 additional feet to give you your 100-foot right-of-way, meeting the master transportation plan. But that is as an easement, which is the exact same thing that they've had in place forever. There's been no argument or constraint that, hey, you can't use that road or anything. She bought the property with all of that land to the center line of the road. Someday when she wants to sell it, she wants to be able to sell the same amount of acreage. The city is requiring that it be removed from her property, dedicated.
That's an H lot, for example?
Yeah, and so the removal of that property from her property makes less lots for her, or less land for her in the end, and they really don't end up with any more right. They already have a right. So we went to the board. The planning and zoning board, I was hoping Rick was gonna be here, yesterday? Tuesday. And so at that meeting, they said, basically the staff's position was, it has to be changed. You have to dedicate the 50 feet and remove it from your property. The planning board didn't really know what to do with that, and so it was tabled. And so at that time, I asked, okay, so we can go to the planning and zoning board in Pennington or Lawrence County here and ask, but I said, what am I asking for? And they didn't have an answer. So I'm here today to kind of discuss it. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that to me, it's pretty simple, but I mean, right now there's an existing access easement, public access easement that hasn't been an issue. If we give them another 17 feet, it's the exact same thing that they have now. It's worked forever. I don't know why it wouldn't work in the future. And it also doesn't take away her property that she paid for. And she obviously knows she can't build a house there. There's setback issues. She understands that. And she's here to speak if she needs to as well. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that.
What do the other neighboring lots have?
So the property across the road to the west is in the city of Spearfish, and it's platted to the center line of the road. And those monuments are in the center of the road. We found them. We didn't dig them out because it's all paved, but they're there. If you buzz it, we've sprayed them, circles around them. All of the existing monumentation is right there in the paved road.
So why do they want this one different?
Yeah. From the meeting, they said that based on the last 2.5 years of experience, they have not approved one without doing that. I haven't had time to go look and see if that's true, but I can tell you that this lot specifically in 1996 was replatted and it was accepted. So
now applying the same rules theoretically, they're coming up with a different result other than the master transportation plan would require that. That's kind of the summary. You and I have talked about this.
Yeah, so the master
ETJ
transportation
ordinance requires it.
The ETJ, and the only place that it requires it in the ETJ is under the definition of right of way.
So, but in other words, so it was approved according to the same ETJ rules before, and now they're applying the ETJ rules and coming to a different result, right? And I guess the argument is that, well, it's being reinterpreted and or the new traffic study says that they have to have 100 feet of right of way, right?
Well, and it's not a matter of whether or not she's willing to dedicate it. She'll dedicate it out to the 50 feet, give them that right.
Yeah. If I may, Mr. Chairman. Mm-hmm. So this is a complicated issue. I think I'm not sure exactly where this piece is at, but if the city is annexed along one side of the road for a portion out there, there's a statute that says that on these boundary line roads that the city statutorily has jurisdiction over the road. We argue with them continually about road jurisdiction issues. Makes sense. It's a separate issue. But so, for example, on Christensen Drive, the city is annexed on both sides of the road. The county would argue that they should have taken on that part of the road. They haven't. They're not going to until they have to. So that's one issue. The other issue is, I think, and Randy Dybert has brought this up too, is that when the city requires this additional right of way, it's unclear as to who owns it. The landowner doesn't own it anymore because the property line doesn't go to the middle of the road, it goes to the edge of their property, if I'm saying that correctly. They're not being taxed on it anymore. But so who owns it? It's not being conveyed in fee to the city, it's not being conveyed to the county. It's an H lot that's out there for somebody to develop at some point. So with that in mind, who's in charge, who's responsible for spraying the weeds on there, who's responsible for if there's some kind of dangerous condition that exists. It's next to the county road, so I don't know that the city would say, I guess it's the county's responsibility because it's next to your road. We've never asked for it. We don't ever plan on needing it, but there it is. And so then the question then also, like I said, who gets to develop it? Why does the city automatically get to develop it if it's dedicated to the public? If I'm an adjacent landowner out there, can I go and scratch a road across there and use it to my benefit? Why does the city have exclusive right to it? So there are a number of issues that we've talked about with the city over the years, and we've never gotten anywhere on the deal. Then there's an issue of a takings issue as well. If you're requiring that they dedicate this land in fee, not as opposed to an easement, as a precondition for a plat, well, there could be arguably a question of they should be compensating the landowner for that land. Not my argument to make, but you could say that, right? I guess the city's argument would be, well, they're getting the benefit of their bargain. They're getting this additional density or these lot lines adjustments, and sort of the price to pay is that we get a little bit of extra right away for future public use. And so I'm just trying to throw out a bunch of issues here. It's very complicated. I don't know what the solution is. I wish we could get the city to sort of agree to take on more roads, and then it would maybe make more sense that they're actually, they have that part of the mainland road is on their system, and it would make sense that then they're acquiring that additional right of way, but they're reaching out beyond their boundaries.
And I asked them, how are you going to handle this in the future? And they said, well, anytime someone comes in to replat, we're now going to enforce that particular ordinance. Well, the property to the south is 2 acres. They're never going to go in and replat. They can't. That's too small. The property to the north is 5 acres. They're not going to do that. So now you have a 33-foot wide easement, and then you have a 50-foot wide easement, then you're back to a 33-foot easement, and it's just hodgepodge all the way down the road. So
Doesn't make sense.
no, it doesn't make sense. So, but they're pushing me into a corner in that I'm not going to allow you to replat until you do that. Well, 50 feet for the length of those 2 lots is nearly an acre. Well, I don't want to lose an acre, so.
Exactly. Mr. Chairman, I was hoping, and I haven't looked at it, that maybe that this would be addressed in the new documents that Amber and her counterpart have been working on, but I don't know that that's the case.
It is being looked at, yes.
So maybe the
But I
resolution.
don't have an answer yet because we're not there yet.
So, but I think we've been saying this for a number of years. As I told Brad, I think it's getting close. It's closer than it has been, but I can't give you like it's going to be tomorrow or June 1st or anything like that. But that might be the answer.
So, and I know I don't have it in front of you, but we're tabled at the county level or at the city level right now, and so I mean, based on what I've explained to you, if I were to bring that plat to the county, like what would be your guys' concern with that? If they've already got a legal easement already in place and has been in place and has been used and has been, and we gave the additional to get to the right of way that needs to be, I mean, generally, what would you guys be? I guess what I'm
going to
looking
make
for-
sure it meets my standards from the county level.
Yeah, it's a paved road and it has the right of.
So that's all I can
Right-of-way.
say. It's not in my jurisdiction to make that decision, though.
Yeah.
I can't remember of any. Maybe there's been one where the county's ever acquired additional right of way. The example that I can think of is along the Kirk Road, where the Kirk Road has not all of it's ever been publicly dedicated by plat. The county has acquired its ability to maintain that road by maintaining it over 20 years. There's a statute that says if a governmental entity maintains a road for 20 years, it becomes publicly dedicated. And I think it says it's 66 feet. So when Homestake has come in over time, to the extent that road crosses their property, they have then dedicated it to the public. But it's kind of like the example that Helene talked about. It's a patchwork. It's not a continuous public dedication by plat from end to end. It's this, by operation of law, statute, and then to the extent that Homestake has done it.
Yeah, it's basically, we would require a 66-foot public right of way. They're asking for more than that.
Yeah.
I don't see where we could deny it based on that issue anyway.
We don't require, curb and gutter. We're not requiring like turning lanes historically. When turning lanes have come into play, I think it's been kind of in this sort of 3-mile area. Could we at some point? Yeah, maybe, but it only usually necessitated because of the high traffic in the 3-mile area. So sometimes the city will require, we'll say it's a county road, so you need to come to the county to get an approach permit. I think Miller Ranch is a good example of that off Christensen Drive. That should probably be a city road, but it's county jurisdiction. So the city sends Miller folks to the county to get an approach permit. And then, oh, by the way, I think wants us to incorporate in there the design for a turning lane. Well, we don't care about turning lanes. And so we've kind of gone back and forth over issues like that as well.
Well, there's been issues there too as well. As far as we can get an approach permit from the county that says this is where they want the road, and then we've been told we don't approve it there, you have to move it and redesign your road. So we've had that happen 3 times on one plat. So
I've heard about that where they've actually made you like redesign it or move it after having come to the county and have had the county grant it.
Okay. I think that's all we had. I just I don't know, I mean, we're
Kind of
trying to work through the process with the city, and I kind of thought, well, I'd like to bring it up and see what your guys' thoughts are on it. So
I can
kinda
tell you I'm
maybe
aware of
report
it.
back.
I can tell you that it's been discussed. I do know that we're trying to work on it in the new ordinance. But I understand from their perspective, they are enforcing what the ordinance says.
Right.
I don't necessarily think they believe it needs to stay that way in some areas. Some areas, they do want to leave it that way. If it's going to be an extension or close to the city, I can understand why they want that. If it's out further, I can also, which is part of why the map needs to change, which would decrease the area in there. But I do understand why they do it. I know Bruce has already recommended this, but this is kind of a battle possibly for the surveyors to get together on and see what other entities do. This is not new. Them asking for more dedication is stuff that happens around Sioux Falls, around those other areas. They do it. It's not a new concept.
No, and I don't have a problem with that extra dedication. I just don't want them taking that.
Yeah, and that was my suggestion. You're not the first surveyor that's brought this to
And
us.
we handle it different and dependent on situations. We have another
Yeah.
development that's also in the county, and we've just dedicated the additional 17 feet because it's a development, and we're adding multiple lots for sale. This is a family plat, and it's not.
Yep, so my suggestion would be though, is possibly contact Lincoln County, City of Sioux Falls. They have a joint jurisdiction. This is not a new concept. See what they do and how they do it when it's this type of a thing. Do they grandfather it in? Is there something different that they do?
I thought I knew the answer, but I don't remember. And if I can add, so as of last night, a bill dropped, and I don't know if it's from the municipal league or who, we know who the legislators are, but there's a bill that would say that, so the cities must think that the counties can give them roads already, otherwise the need for this bill isn't obvious. But there's a bill that says that the county can't basically make the city take a road unless it meets a certain standard, and that standard is something like 85% something or another. And so talking to John Bay, the highway superintendent, it's a very high standard. So basically no gravel road could ever be given to the city. It would have to be a paved road of some certain quality before the city could be compelled to take it. And so that's going to make it that if a bill like that passes, that basically means the county's going to have to spend a lot of money on a road in order for the city to even take it, right? And so we've had a bill pending, and I think we're going to go forward with it now in light of what happened with that bill that basically says, I don't know if I'm boring you with this, but I find this to be very interesting. There's a state law that says that the state can maintain a road inside the city if the state wants to. There's no law that says that a county can maintain a road inside the city. And again, counties only have the rights that are given to them by statute. But we have a bunch of county roads inside city limits. Christensen Drive is a prime example where the city is annexed for an extended period extent over both sides of the road, right? And but the city is like, they're not going to take that road on. Ironically, 15, 20 years ago, the city actually did a Christensen Drive project and actually assessed a tax on the people that lived along there and collected the tax in order to pay for it, unwittingly, probably knowing they were probably thinking that that portion of the road was inside city limits. It's not. It's still a county road, and so the city allowed infrastructure to go in that road. And so pending before the county commission next Tuesday is going to be someone who wants to put a water line across the road. And so the city is saying, well, you have to go to the county to get that. The county is saying, well, you should have already had this road on your system because you've allowed all this stuff to go in there already. We don't want anything to do with it. And now, according to this new statute, that road would have to be brought up to a very significant standard in order for the city to ever take it on, even though they've taxed people for it. So that's probably pretty boring.
Interesting.
Interesting, though, yeah.
That's what we go through back and forth with that.
It almost seems like if the city annexes both sides of the road, that should just
Their road.
automatically should give it to them. Yeah.
Right, and so there's no statute that specifically says that. There is a statute that was adopted a couple of years ago that said any boundary line road is essentially a city road, but it's not really quite that clear. So if a boundary line road is a city road, well then certainly an internal road would be inside the city, right?
Yeah.
But the statute really doesn't address that, and no one's ever tested any of this. So no one, the city and the county necessarily want to go to court. It doesn't really look good that we're going to argue and spend money over something like that. So I think we're gonna end up with competing bills firing back and forth, seeing if we can get the legislature to fix it for us.
So you're, at this point, maybe your recommendation is to wait and see if this all gets hashed out by the end of the year?
Stand by.
Stand by? Yeah.
I mean, that's your call. I mean, I know people want an answer, and what I've told them is Kevin is trying to do a job based on what
Yes.
the ordinance is, and that's what he's doing. We are trying to cohesively work on that document to make sure that some of these things get taken care of. That's all I can say right now, because then it has to go before the boards. We have to
Right.
see if
There's a
they
whole
agree with it or
process.
not.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna take a while.
They're pretty vigilant in their requirements. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It wasn't even gonna get on the agenda
Mr. Chairman? I
for a
think
sketch plat.
I think maybe part of Brad's thought process as we talked was maybe to present to you, you make a recommendation to the county commission then says to the city, hey, what are you doing here? And my thought is, and I think I expressed this to Brad, the city kind of knows where the county stands on that. And so I don't know that there's any more pressure to be brought on there. And so I'm hoping that this process that Amber's involved in will maybe fix it and maybe not.
I mean, I can tell them at the meeting, I don't believe that the county would require this, but it doesn't carry much weight.
Well, you have to keep in mind, I review every single one of those plats. They know that we don't require it because that's how I respond to them. In the county, this would be allowed. So, I mean, they already get that response when I have to review the plats that are in through Mount, because I still review sketch plat. I look at all the sketch plats, I look at all the preliminaries, I look at all the final, and I always respond back to them. So, I mean, they are aware of it. I don't think it's anything new.
We're looking at it only from our perspective. We're not looking at it from their road plan, future road plan perspective. Obviously, that's why they're doing some of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess, to sort of facilitate that.
Well, it's not necessarily an argument of whether or not additional right of way is needed.
Yeah.
Or allowed.
Yeah.
It's more of a,
Way to facilitate it.
yeah,
Your argument is you're meeting the intent of the ordinance.
and have been for
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah. To me, that's a pretty strong argument, but.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next, anything else from the public? Next meeting Thursday, March 6th at 1:30 p.m. Okay, anything else? Adjourned.